Morning ladies and gents, welcome to Saturday morning. It's now the 23rd I think. So today we're going to try and get some jobs done on the big girl. I have actually ordered some belts for her, some replacement belts. These ones I don't know how long they've been on for. I've had the trac for about 5 years anyway now. And they just look and feel a little bit on the hard side. So while it rads out, I think I'll make it easier trying to fit everything onto the pulleys. Otherwise you have to try and do it from underneath, so might as well take advantage of it while the rad's out. On the rad as well, I am still waiting for the rubbers, which are these ones. Yeah, that's an original one, as you can tell. It's about done. Another original one. Replacement one, but that's done. Another replacement one, but it's tiny. It's about the only good one actually. I think that's the other one, but that's tiny compared to the rest. Even that's a bit small as well. So don't even ask about that one. So belts came from local lad, filters came from local lad. To see what you can get these. Nothing was quite the right size. They're either too small, more like that one, that's the size of it's just wrong, too deep, too thin, whatever else. So I went to Merck and got it from the dealer, and he's having problems with Merck because they're not doing deliveries, or should I say deliveries are very poor at the moment. He used to get a couple each week, and now he's down to, it was almost every couple. I think his last one was 2 months ago, his delivery, because Merck have done something stupid and taken the cars away from the industrial part. So anyway, so they haven't come. Got another lad sending them. They're supposed to send them on Monday, but they've not turned up yet. So I don't know if they're on the way or not. It's easier putting the rad on before I put the nose cone on. Sorry, nose cone on. And then from the nose cone I can put the grills back on, the front plate back on, the bars back on that hold the body panels across here. The body panels on, top panel on, exhaust on, and that's pretty much everything back on again. As I think that's probably as far as I'm going to get this winter with projects. It won't be long till we start doing field work and spraying, and I want to have her out and spraying. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but first job this morning though is to work on these panels. So these are the side panels, and previously I'd ordered some new locks which are bloody expensive. They're something like 40 quid each of them. Reason being is these, so that's an original one, if I can do it with that, yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's a little bit on the thin side. So basically, if you watch my videos back, you'll see that's why the bonnets, or the panels are shaking from side to side. So I need to change that one on this panel and one on that one. So just need a posi 3 and undo them. Right, so we're getting on now. Managed to get stuff. That's from mate, his Ducati's going. So I've got the belts off. There's two tensioning nuts, one there and one there. One's for the hydraulic pump. I think the other's power steering pump. But anyway, those four are off now and are down there, and I've just got the fan belt off as well. Fan belt was a bit of a pain. So hydraulic pump came off fairly easily, just undid that, and it could wobble. The what I think's power steering pump actually undid that nut there just to slacken it off, because it just wouldn't move after undoing that one as well. Ooh, which is the tensioning nut, but it still won't turn, so just knock that off a little bit. and then did the alternator for the main belt, which was a fan belt, which does the alternator at the same time. That doesn't sound too bad. So yeah, all off. Just making sure everything fits down here. So I've labelled them up at the front, middle and back, and then there's the aircon one up there. But these are pretty well done. Quite glad I'm changing them now. So yeah, those are the granites. I don't think it gives you a number on them. But that's a replacement for that one, for the front belt. That one for the middle belt, which is the hydraulic, so that's power steering, hydraulic. And then the fan belt is that one. So just to make life easier anyway. So yeah, we'll get the fan belt one off and then start putting them back on again. I'm going to make myself a brew first, so old fire. Right, so we're getting somewhere. I have just literally turned kettle back on again. In fact, I'll knock that off. So yeah, belts are back on now. I didn't bother showing you because I'm sure you know how to put belts on, but they were a bit of a pain. What I did actually do on these was put some tape around, just so I had a rough idea of where I was going back to. That belt was a pig, so there's a bolt there that was tight on, that was loose, and then what I ended up doing is, I forget the torch, there's a bolt down there at the bottom that holds it in. It's like the really long one. I had to slacken that right off. I ended up actually pulling it out and then realising that it was all being held together by that, because the bolt couldn't actually go up and down on it on a slide. So anyway, that's back on again, intentioned. According to the book, if I remember rightly, there should be between 5 and 10 mil deflection on them. So, a bit dark in there, aren't you? So, 5 and 10 mil deflection on the belts. So, they're all not far off. They might need a tweak later on. But it was definitely easier doing it without the radiator on. I could actually get my hand in and get hold of some of the pipes to pull the pumps up out of the way. Or out of the way to give me a bit more space. But yeah, all back on. Very simple, to be honest. So, just had a word with Ian at AC Price Engineering, who are the MOG dealers, or MB trac people, Merc people, whichever you want to call it, who I deal with to get parts off. Basically, I've been using them for years anyway. And Bossman Alex knows, well, my old MOGs anyway. So I can pretty much ring up the lads there and they'll know exactly who I am and what it's going straight onto, what vehicle I've got to go onto. So I've just rung them, and apparently my rubbers for the radiator have just come in, which is nice. So hopefully next week I can get the rad back on, instead of it being sat down there on the floor, tucked away, with me ready to kick it. So yeah, anyway, so that's good. Belts are done. Definitely worth doing, because they are definitely on the older side of it. So in fact, I think one of them, I think it was them ones, I actually managed to pretty much crack. But so yeah, they're all done. They can go in the bin. I just need the aircon belt, which goes on there, which is no great problem to do afterwards. So yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well. Right, so the next little job for me to do is on this. So these are the old bonnet rubbers. They use these on quite a few MOGs, the 406s, and I think some of the earlier stuff. They're just like a hold down. You'll see them all over the place. I think even like Volkswagen and stuff like that were using them back in the day. But they're getting a bit hard and a bit elongated holes and stuff. So bought some new ones. That was good. Just put that on there. Just bought some new ones and screwed them onto there. But for some reason, this end, if I do that, seems to do one itself away. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. So I've just run up to see if I can get some more of them. I'm going to find out on Monday. But I've also realised that there should be a little rubber in there, so I know I see that. There's just a little dampening rubber. Presumably that stops it from rubbing on these, which are the rails that run along from that corner there to the nose cone, which when this sits onto, which would be why those rails have got a bit of damage on as well. So I need to find out if we can get them as well, just to bang in. The tighter you can get it, the less it's going to wobble, the less it's going to wobble, the less it's going to damage itself. So yeah, getting there. Might be able to just stick on the air intake, which is down there as well, and bang that on while we're at it. While it's on the floor, because it'll be easier when it's up in air. But I might just need a hand with somebody just to put it on, because it'll weigh a bit. So yeah, give me 2 minutes and we'll be back. Right, so a quick job just to make myself feel a bit better. Air intake is back on. The cyclone filter at the top's on. Obviously the downpipe into the bonnet is on. So I was going to change those bolts out, but I'd have these stainless steel ones at the right size. And put the rubbers back on again, so they're on and looking quite smart. So the other thing I think I mentioned before is I bought these as well. So these are the adjusters for the linkage. Come back out. These were the old ones, and the eyes had pretty much gone on them. So there's some slacking. I was going to get the lad that's doing the rest of the linkage to do it, but I managed to get these at a good price. So I thought, bugger it. Plus I also wondered if, I thought there was supposed to be a spring in here. So that bit goes into there, like so. And I thought there'd be something in there to keep the tension on, like you do with most other tractors, but there doesn't seem to be anything. So, yeah. The other thing was there was quite a bit of play in this bit of the collar as well, so it just made more sense to buy a new one rather than trying to fix it. So yeah, I've just got these pins to take out, and then we can mount them back into that holding cup there. I've also been looking at these as well. Ooh, sorry. Been looking at these as well, which are for the linkage themselves. I think they're the linkage arms themselves. It's just another mounting point for it onto the axle, onto this big casting that's behind all this. But I can't get the nut off. It's like a 24 M24. Sorry, no, a 24 mil nut. So I can't get it off at the moment. But we'll see. I can't work out if there's supposed to be play. It's like slotted, so there's supposed to be play in there, which I can't quite understand why there would be. But yeah, I'll find out. Oh, another one while I'm here. I can't remember who said that I'd wrong pin in the top linkage. Well, I got myself a proper Cat 3 one now, so sorted. To be honest, I'd completely forgotten about that until you'd mentioned it. But yeah, well, can't win more. So yeah, we're getting there slowly. It'll be nice just to start putting bits back on. So next bit I'm on is putting this cowling back on. So I've just cut some bolts to fit, and we're just going to have a look if this fits now, but I don't think it does. So yeah. Right, we've got the ring on of the fan, and there's clearance all the way around it. But the only thing I don't quite know is how this is supposed to relate to it, because the fans on the fan, or the edge of the fan, sits on the outside of this, not the inside. So I don't know quite what's happening. There was actually a bit of rubber strip between this and the outside of the fan. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like that or not. So I'm going to try and find out what's happened. Otherwise there's going to be a fair gap between this and that. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. Got a bit done. So got that done. Got the belts on, which is the big job, and started playing with this. I might even do an oil change on this thing while it's cold and in here, because 352s and I think the 366's engines have galleries at the top you have to fill to do an oil check anyway. But obviously when there's no oil in there and all the oil's at the bottom, you get a full kind of oil change out of it, rather than starting it up, warming the engine up, having oil all the way across the top in the galleries and then trying to drop it out. I don't know, we'll see. Just want to get these rubbers in and get this mounted, get that on, and then we're getting somewhere. So anyway, thanks very much, and I'll catch you later. Bye. So I managed to get to Sunday morning now. It's actually Sunday lunchtime. I should be having a roast dinner, but well, nobody's going to make me one, so never mind. So just test fitting the rad. So I've got the banding that I showed you yesterday. I've actually put a rubber strip between that and it's kind of like the cowling down there. The gap at the top is very tight with the fans onto that cowling. So I'm worried that when it starts working, that might end up moving into the fan, or the fan flexes enough to hit it, which is not what we want. But I don't know how well you'll see. If I get my torch down there, I've got everything all over the place. So if you look at that far blade, don't worry about, oh, I can get it to sit. Don't worry about this one. It's the gap between the fan and what is that there, which is the cowling, that cowling. There's about 5mm gap in there, which is pretty much taken up by that rubber. I can move this about a little bit, I can tweak it, but on the top of there's still a couple of, if I can move the fan around, there is a couple of mil gap between that and the outside. There wasn't a huge amount the first time, so I don't think I'm going to get much more. Still need the rubbers. I've just test fitted it, I've put the old rubbers back, or 2 old rubbers back, as there should be a rubber on top as well as below. On top as well as below. And I've also just put the stay in as well, just to see. I don't actually think I've got enough rubbers now. I ordered 6, and there's 2 for each side. And then I ordered 2 more, which I thought was 1 for there and 1 for there, but I needed a second one there. And I can't remember if that one had it. So it's been, well, I've slept in between taking this apart, so it's a bit of a pain. So yeah, not too bad. Got the aircon back in again onto the nose cone, and I've changed the bolts out for some stainless steel ones. Again, unfortunately, the aircon rad isn't quite sat right, because if you look here, it should be sat in between that and that, where it's not really, but it's almost secure in there. It could do with a bit of packing in there. But we'll see how it goes. And then I had to try and work out where that had gone, or where that went. But that just locates down there on one of the bolts. Actually, that bolt hole, like that. So that holds on the oil reservoir here. So what I need to do as well is find out about the aircon system, because that's going to be the next thing to try and sort. So there's that, and then there's a doofer down there as well, which I have no idea what it is, what either of them do. But the amount of rust that's inside these pipes isn't a good sign. So I don't know, we'll have to see. So yeah, getting there. I've just ordered that belt as well, so hopefully that'll come this week. And then once that's in, nose cone on, bars on, we're about done for this year. Well, ladies and gents, welcome to another Saturday workshop. So we're back on with the big girl, and hopefully this might get covered in today. So just a recap, done the injector seals, done the fan belt, hydraulic belt, power steering belt, and I have just got the AC pump belt, which I'm not quite sure why I bothered, because I'm not even sure its system works. Rad's been re-cored and put back somewhat like. Cowling's been painted, There's a little shroud there that's been painted as well, rubber seal between them. And the other day I did just get rubber mounts, so these are the proper Merc ones. They finally turned up, which is the good, so they can go in top and bottom of there. There should be another couple for here as well, so yeah, if you're wondering why, that's why. So yeah, they can go back on. Nose cone can come back up and get bolted in here, and then the top panel and the front nose cone facing plates can go on. So yeah, should be a good day. It is a bit cold there. You can't see my breath, but it's cold enough. I think we were down to +1 or 2 this morning. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. We're getting somewhere now. So bolts on, tightened up, done nice. Rubber's in the right place now. I've changed the gap as well for the edge of it between the fan and the shroud. So I undid the bolts that hold these on, just a bit more wiggle room. So there's a better gap now all the way around it. Rads on. I think that's wrong though. I don't know why, but rubber's under there. So that side didn't same as well. And I've had to reuse 2 rubbers there from the old ones, but not too worried about that. It's not a hard job to undo that and pull them off. So yeah, happy with that. Pipe back on, bottom pipe is back on as well. So I've just filled the rad as well with antifreeze. And as I said before, I used WD-40. I used distilled water in it. Brand new rads, so I thought I'd treat her. Also, the water out here is really hard. Hard and a bit irony, so just thought I'd give her a treat. So next to go back on is the nose cone. And I actually think I've left a little bracket out, wherever it is now, from the back of there. That holds those 2 nuts on, like captive nuts on it. I can't find where I put it now. I'm not too worried because I've got stainless steel fixings on it anyway, so bolts and fixings. So that'll do. But yeah, we'll get this in, see how she fits. Right, so we're done. She's back together. You can't really tell that I've put any money into it, but there's probably been about 800 quid's gone into it. With radiators, some parts I put into it, belts in it, the rest of it, so not too bad. I was going to start her up, but I've still got that hydraulic hose off down there, so I need to order that because the bit of paper that I got for it, the straight bit won't bend enough to, yeah, do that. So yeah, that's it, done. The only bit you can tell it's been done is hopefully that bit. So anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you later. Bye.